The hidden messages in your spiritual exhaustion. What does it mean? Stay tuned, because this video is about the identity shifts or the initiation in our masculinity from a different angle and different perspective. So if you feel spiritual exhausted, not sad, not depressed, but more like flat, like you're constantly dealing with this emptiness or boredom, or you're feeling just numb, and the only thing you can do is to numb yourself down to move through this boredom, then stay around, because there might be some hidden messages within this kind of exhaustion. Exhausted from all the spiritual content out there about doing this, doing that, January, crushing your goals, it's new year and all of it. And you feel kind of exhausted of this information overload. This is about something deeper, a deeper journey within our soul. Spiritual exhaustion is not about weakness or a failure. It's about a threshold about something new coming ahead. And within this threshold, there lies a hidden message for you, waiting for you to remember or to explore and to experience. But if you don't listen, you might keep spinning your wheels around and round, around the same kind of roundabout, going nowhere. Trying the same kind of practices, rituals, healings or meditations, but still not going anywhere. So what is spiritual exhaustion really about? What does it really mean? It basically means is that your soul has already moved on to the next stage of your evolution. It's just like your identity is still clinging on to the past. What lies within your identity, your thoughts, your emotions, your ego, and your basic needs for survival. It wants to seek some kind of foundation of safety, security, to keep you safe and protected from the unknown, from what has yet to be experienced. The soul is not looking for the familiar, it is looking for the unfamiliar, it's looking for evolution. That means you have outgrown endless cycles of repeats of your old identity and everything that has been given to you and passed over from your upbringers, the school system, your work environments, the people around you, and all of it. You have outgrown these old repetitive cycles. The same kind of passive meditations or spiritual content without any kind of embodiment keep you trapped into some kind of bypassing or avoidance. So it's not longer about searching and seeking, it's about becoming. The exhaustion comes when the constant need for action does not longer work for you. It feels like the constant need and the pressure to do something, it is also part of an avoidance or a neglect from your own needs, of your emotions, and therefore you're missing the hidden message of insights. Because what we are missing is clarity. Clarity and direction, which comes from insight. A deeper knowing of where to go next is to listen to the whispers of our soul, singing and tune to us like this is something we feel we must go into, but we don't know how. We're still clinging on to the past, and we still doing the same kind of reactions, which is an action on repeat and repetitive action based on our old paradigm, keeping us stuck, which is exhausting us. And how it feels like we are dragging an anchor through thick mud, causing this never-ending void that we seem to fulfill, and it's exhausting, it's draining, it's burning ourselves out. So we're clinging on to the old structure, but awareness can help us to move out of this structured matrix, the matrix of the old paradigm, of the conditioning and the patterns we are clinging on to, that is keeping us stuck in this survival consciousness. Yes, we want direction, but a lot of this direction comes from the logical minds. Well, here's the thing, if we pay more attention to our instinct and sensitivity is going to replace this need for logic direction. The sensitivity can listen to the whispers of our soul, giving us the insight. Now, you might say, okay, I feel exhausted from all the spiritual work I've been doing. I don't know what to do anymore. And maybe it is right now a time to recognize that doing all these spiritual practices, it's not longer relevant, because maybe it's not fixing your spiritual exhaustion, because exhaustion doesn't want more information, more healing or more guidance. It wants a decision. Not taking a decision is also a decision, but then we stay stuck in this limbo. Which door to go into next? Where should I go move into? What's waiting for me at the other sides? Do I keep spinning around the same kind of roundabout, doing the same kind of things I used to do that maybe used to work for me 20 years ago, but right now it exhausts me? What insight is guiding me into which door? The nervous system can get really tired of your demands and expectations for yourself. The constant need for improvements, because you feel something ain't quite right or there yet. It wants to claim onto something. It's also exhausting the nervous system. And it also gets tired when you're not there or take the courage to risk something. It gets tired when you stay stuck in the old paradigm. Because at some point the soul wants initiation and not comfort. So here's the shamanic point of view. So many of us Northwest European, Western men, we're looking for a remembrance. We see the crisis in our outside world on a social, economic, political level, and maybe we say it is affecting us, maybe. But what is affecting us is that what triggers us. And our purpose is to take full ownership and authority over our own inner state of being. So we don't react to what's coming at us, but we remember that we are a sovereign being and not a slave to the external, where we are feeling a victim to our reactions. Instead, we take the ownership and responsibility over ourselves, over our own embodiment, integration, and how we root and ground ourselves in our essence. Because the next initiation for Western men is to connect with our essence so we can build presence. And by doing so, we can really reconnect with our ancestral wisdom of the land we live on, the energy of the lands that can help us to initiate, move us through this threshold. We are moving through worlds. This is basically what it is. We are moving through different states of awareness, consciousness, point of views and different perspectives, different states of our own psyche. This is the next part of the masculine initiation. And moving through worlds is moving away from the world that's not longer working. And that is not an easy process, I must admit, because we feel like we are being spit out by the old world, the old paradigm. We lose a job, marriage breakdown, crisis, 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 chaos. But this offers us the opportunity to recognize there's a different kind of world, dimension or realm waiting for us to remember. It's already there. And maybe it has been forgotten. Maybe it is somewhat here forgotten, but it's like here in a spiritual graveyard that wants to be revived. So the old self has died. And now we are on the threshold to move and reborn, is to give ourselves a rebirth. Shamanism is all about death and rebirth. Many tribal shamans have gone through a death and rebirth cycle. You can check out my other videos about the meaning of shamanism, and some literally has almost passed away, and I've seen the tunnel of moving to the next stage of life. But for us, as modern men, a part of us die, which represents the old self, the ego. So this threshold is a phase of making a decision of what the door open, which will be the next stage of our initiation. But if we don't take this decision, we continue to feel numb, isolated, lonely, empty. We stay in the void. And this is the point where we continue to distract ourselves for mind-numbing activities, scrolling, watching series, and you name it. And this is the point where we are being invited to choose what we really want for ourselves. But if you stay present within the storm that is happening around you, a new identity is being forged. Like you have to forge a weapon, a sword. The same with your identity. So let's talk about a couple of signs where you feel the call for your next stage of initiation. Spiritual exhaustion becomes an initiation when you're tired of talking about change. You want structure, not softness. You crave brotherhood, not validation. Maybe you also feel an anger beneath the surface, an anger that can help you to reconnect with your inner fire, especially when you feel this void of staying stuck and you are done explaining yourself. So this is the moment when the men who choose to embark on their shamanic initiation, not with affirmations, but moving through their thresholds. So what this phase really asks of you. This phase is not about asking yourself what's wrong with me. It is the question and asking yourself what I am being asked about. What is the question that I need to ask myself? What is being asked of me? Not in 5 years, not when you're healed, not when you make 100k a year, and definitely not when you are ready. So the real medicine for us is here really about recognizing and appreciating and moving into our own embodiment. Responsibility, containment and action without certainty. This is where the sensitive lone wolf or spiritual man will either regress or step forward. So if I look back to 2025 was for me somewhat a collapse and destruction. Something wasn't working. I lost a job. I had to go into a conflict with my ex-employer. I had to hire a lawyer to terminate the contract. And yes, I felt exhausted through not listening to what my body was telling to me, not listening to the whispers of my soul, or where I was doubting myself and all of it, where I was not taking action with the uncertainty, and where I looked for the illusion of fun to the old paradigm. 2025 in numerology, it was a year of the number 9. Within my own numerology, I have a number 9 as a soul's calling, but it's in my shadow. It's the final number within numerology, which is the master number. It has to master all the other numbers. Now, 2026, if you calculate every number, the final number is a number 9, then we start again with the number 1. 2026 is a number of 1, of taking new initiations. In this taking action, new beginnings is the number of the leader. So this is really where we get to decide what we want for ourselves. But yes, I identified last year my journey as exhausted, fatigued, feeling burnt out, where I couldn't connect with my inner fire. My inner fire, my flame somewhat disappeared. I felt the void, the emptiness, the loneliness, the isolation, and you name it. And even through a lot of practices, I felt like nothing really worked out so well for me. Yet, when I followed the insights of the runes, the divination tools of the runes, it reflected a part of my soul's journey. Last year I pulled a lot of reversed Turisas and reversed Juris, which is a power and force turned inwards, emotions turned inwards. Then I also got a lot of Hagelas, the rune of the destruction. I also pulled a lot of Isa, the rune of stagnation. Now I'm pulling more runes for myself where I see this is all part of my death and rebirth journey. We have so many of these cycles throughout our life. Explains a lot of why I do what I do. And this is of course a new cycle in my life where we are being invited to finally crystallize a part of our soul's calling, of really what we want to do here, not just for ourselves but also what we want to share with the world. And we must listen to that, because if not, we stay stuck in old cycles and eventually life passes by. We become 60, 70, 80 years old and we look back with regrets of not doing what our soul really came here to do, which is of course here to remember his essence. And that is really here the purpose of what we are here are to do. If you're listening to this, realize there's nothing really wrong with you. And it might be January, it might be the new year, which is a man-made calendar. The real new year starts in spring, of course. That's the real beginning of the new year. Right now it's still winter. The winter is here to go inwards, to rest and to move into alignment, into coherence. So this is also for us the invitation to recognize and move into our thresholds, is to decide which door are we going to enter next. Because you don't really need fixing, because everything what happens and what is currently happening to you is just perfect. We are perfection in its own imperfection. So we don't need fixing, we need the thresholds. A space where your nervous system can stabilize. And maybe your anger, your frustration becomes direction. Your exhaustion becomes clarity through insights. And where your solitude and isolation becomes brotherhood. So if this really resonated with you, please let me know and simply drop below. I am ready. I'm ready to move through the thresholds and I'm ready to join the brotherhood. And if you're really ready to move forward, you know what to do. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope it was helpful, and I look forward to see you in one of my next videos, live streams, where we go further and deeper into this whole journey of the masculine initiation.